Hello once again. I have received a request to have a closer look at the Simple Symmetry template and give my tips and pointers on how we can create this look. So let's head off to the craft room and I'll show you how it's done. So in front of me I have my little cheat sheet where I was figuring out where all your cuts should be for this template. I will type them all up nice and neat and post them to my group, or in the description below you will see how you can request a copy by emailing me. So let's go over some of the items you're going to need for this project. I'm going to use a high contrast matte just to make it easier for you to see. I'm going to be using 2 rulers for helping me keep things square. I've got a T and a 0 centering ruler, but any 2 rulers would work for you. I've got some tweezers for doing some little nitpicky stuff, my repositional adhesive, my personal trimmer for cutting my photos, my 12-inch trimmer. You're going to need whatever background cardstock you're going to use, and your photos and any other accent decorative paper you may want. I'm going to be showing you 2 different ways you can achieve this look. One of them, I call it just the easy effect. So we're going to start with our mat. We're going to put down our background paper. And then you are going to need 4 pieces of paper in a 3.5 by 5.5 inch shape. And that could be your photos, your journaling boxes, whatever your main image is going to be on your paper. You're also going to need four sheets that are half this width that will give you your corners, so 1 3/4 by 5.5. And for this cheater technique, you are also going to need 3 squares measuring 2 5/8 by 2 5/8, and you want them to match your background paper. This one here I'm going a bit off shade just so it's a little bit easier for you to see. So once we're all set with that, we're ready to go. So first off, I'm going to square my background paper on my mat, and I'm going to set up my margins. My outside margins for all these recipe templates that Creative Memory makes is a 1/2 inch margin around the side of the page, so you're basically working on an 11-inch square. So I'm setting up my T here at the 1/2 inch mark here, so I know where to center things at the 1/2 inch, and I'm going to run my Creative Memories 0 centering ruler at the 1/2 inch line here, so I have a square corner in which to place my items. So on the bottom, I'm going to run this piece in here. I'm going to run this piece in here, 1/2 inch from the bottom of the page. There, and then I'm going to work with my photos. Go on my 6. I'm basically just going to place my photos down. So you're going to go there and here, and you're going to go upward so you're kind of straddling the the middle line, you're going to make about an 1/8 of an inch border as you go along. I'm using a repositional tape in case I need to jiggle anything. That one's going here. There's my 1/2 inch. And my top pieces. Half inch from the top of the page. Right there. 1/2 inch from the top of the page right here. 1/2 inch there. With my spacing. So all my big pieces are now basically in place. In order to get the effect of your simple symmetry where the corners come in, this is where my little background pieces that I've cut into 2 5/8 are gonna fit in. So I am just going to slide this one down the middle so I am in between my black border on all 4 sides. There we have it, right in my grooves. I'm going to add one on the bottom. This one will overlap a little bit on the top just to give a nice sharp edge to your photo. Center that one. And I'll just center that one. I'm a bit off center at the top, but I'm not going to juggle it now. And there's our 3. So by adding the 3 squares on the page, it automatically gives you your triangle effect. And then if you were going to add any extra journaling or smaller photos, this one I cut into a 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 inch piece, and they can and you have the look of the Simple Symmetry template. And again, don't forget you can rotate this 90 degrees if you're working with vertical photos. All right, now if we're going to build the same Simple Symmetry Layout sketch, but this time we're going to cut the pieces. Once again, we're going to start with our 3 1/2 by 5 1/2 inch mats. This time we're going to use 6 of them. And once you've cut them to those dimensions, we're going to take them to our 12-inch trimmer. You are going to slide them down along the 45-degree line, and we're going to bring it up to the 1 1/4 inch mark on the top of our trimmer right here. We're going to cut that corner off, and then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to go again at the 1 1/4 inch mark. And cut that off again, and we're going to have our point. Now, in order to get our 2 end pieces, we're going to go ahead again with our trimmer. We are going to slide it in at the halfway mark. So half of our 3 1/2 inches will be 1 3/4. So I'm going to slide this out to the 1 3/4 inch mark, which should put the tip of your point right on your cut line, and then you can go down and cut that in half. So once all those are done, you're all set to start placing them again on your sheet. This one I've already cut, so I'm going to work right on the mat rather than a background paper so it's easier for you to see. So I'm going at my border at my high contrast at the half inch for my border around the page, and the same thing with this one here, half inch, and that will give me my triangle piece. And this one should straddle just shy of the 6-inch mark, and again just shy of the 6-inch mark, like so. And because you've made 6 of these, you're cutting 2 of them in half to get your 2 end pieces. Symmetry will be doing the same thing on the other side. For my insert pieces, going in the middle, I am going to go ahead and cut 3 squares for this orientation at the 2 1/4 inch mark, and those will sit nicely inside here. And you can see I'm lining up with my 6-inch line with my point, and down my center 6 inches, down my center 6 inches, even with the middle there, and that will bring you your symmetry half page done. If I'm working with my photo, what you may want to do before you cut your photo, again, this is my 5.5 by 3.5 inch photo. You might want to cut a dummy blank one just as an overlay to see what you're cutting off of your photo when you're cutting that in. Because if it's something really important you need to do, you may want to adjust your photo before you trim it right down to see what's actually coming in and out of that. But let's take this one down. Again, coming in with my trimmer, I'm going to the 1 1/4 inch mark here. And then I'm going to flip it over so I can get the reverse corner on this side at the 1 1/4. My point will line up on my cut line, and I know I have a nice sharp point here. So slide those in. I can swap out that mat for a photograph. Now, alternately, if you are going to want to use these as a mat and cut smaller images on top, this is what you're going to be doing for your overlays. And your overlays, you're going to start with a 3 1/4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of paper. When you slide it in at the 45-degree line, you're going to take off 1 1/8 inch, and then it will sit nicely on top of your sketch like so. And again, if you're adding a photo image over your mat here, your overlay for your smaller inserts, these are 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and if I want to add a photo in the middle, I'm going to cut one at 2 by 2, and that will sit nicely on top. Now, once you have this basic principle, knowing that it takes 3 of these squares, 3.5 by 5.5, you can, if you want to put 6 photos in a page, you can take away those and work with your big piece right at the bottom at the 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. Throw this one in the middle. Look how nicely that lines up. And then let's add another one at the top with your 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. And this way I'm getting 6 photos on my page. And then with my squares in the middle, I'm going to be going with my 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, one here, but I will have to take one of them and cut them in half, and then I'll be able to add them at the top. That should go on the line, and the bottom like so. So again, same symmetrical template pattern, except this time you are going to have 3 big pieces at the bottom, 4 little ones in the middle rather than 3, because you're going to be cutting your squares in half here to make a triangle versus your bigger pieces. I'll do a final page with this type sketch layout and I'll post it. I'm liking this enhanced version because I like getting lots of photos on my page. If you want to keep up with any other videos I make, do subscribe so you get notifications. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and if you want to catch any other videos I have made on templates, have a look here.